channel here, AOK Games, for a highly anticipated long-haul flight with the brand new release at the time of this video, PMDG 777-300ER extended range. This aircraft sports some highly impressive numbers, and if you take a look, we are intentionally at the basic eye level here of this ground ops crew member because in the real world, this plane is quite a sight, and as you can tell, it is already looking gigantic. Now, in the real world, I have been up close to a Continental 777, and that's all based off of the fact that when I was working out of the Northeast sector for the air carrier domestic brand that I worked for on a particular international terminal, I was able to walk up to one of these 777s by the aforementioned air carrier and take a look at just how big these engines are in real life. This is the GE 115, and I believe it is the B model. Now, what you need to understand about the scale here is you probably already know, since you're a fan of aviation, you more than likely know that cone there is essentially from the bottom of the engine nacelle to the center of that spinner, about the height of an average human being. So you could fit two people, top to bottom, inside of that. Or by diameter, an actual 737 fuselage can almost fit. Well, that engine can almost suck up the entire fuselage, which is what I'm saying is how big that engine is. It is quite a behemoth. Not only is it physically large with dimensions, but it has the highest thrust of, I believe, almost any production aircraft engine to date, with 115,000 pounds upwards of that in thrust per engine. So it's got some power. In fact, an enormous amount of power. These aircraft, just like a lot of large aircraft, have engines powerful enough that they can essentially blow over automobiles. There's plenty of YouTube videos that show this, in fact, happening in real life. So if you are at the throttles of an aircraft like this, you would have to be extremely careful where the back end of your aircraft is pointing, because you would not want to blow over anything and ruin somebody's day. In fact, these engines are capable enough they could probably pick up an engine like this, probably could pick up an automobile and possibly suck it in. I know that when I was around the 737 engines in real life, if you were to stand near the side of that inlet, I can tell you from personal experience that those engines are capable of making it difficult to breathe. It is bizarre to be at sea level and literally not be able to find the air to essentially sustain life. So something like this being next to it or close up would be just a phenomenal experience. And what a phenomenal experience this already is. I mean, look at these textures. So this is going to be a ground ops video, right? We're not going to be able to do a proper, complete checkup on this aircraft and review in any rapid form. So this will be the ground ops. We will check out all of the fascinating details, all of the weathering on the 300ER here. This aircraft is for sure the epitome of study level. If there ever was such a thing as a term that in depth, it would be this aircraft for sure. I mean, when you get right up close, right, we're looking at detail here. It's got all kinds of wearables. I mean, the tires wear, the brake pucks wear, these little pins here that you can see on the outer edge, I guess you would call that, of the axle there, or the inner edge there of the tire. Those horizontal pins are the brake wear lines, and when the pin actually gets down to that tab, it's time to change the brakes. So yeah, that's the level of detail we're talking about here. I mean, look at these lines, right? This plumbing, the detail, the difference in the surface materials, the PBR textures. I mean, even to the fact when you look at the servicing chart for strut here, right? I mean, you can read that. You can read that, and I assure you, with the compression that YouTube uploading has, what you're seeing is not, unfortunately, as crisp as what I am seeing. So definitely be aware that this aircraft has quite an extensively nice exterior model for sure. So as I stated on my community page, you can probably tell by the livery where this aircraft is going. But where we are is Kilo Papa Alpha Echo, as you saw in the intro video. Hopefully you like that. This is the Dreswicki design, Paine Field, right? This is the home of the 777, of course, and it is where we are going to be departing for Japan. So, destination unknown. Not exactly sure which airport I'd like to fly to. Possibly Kansai, maybe Tokyo Haneda. Somewhere's in Japan. Maybe we'll even do a lap of Mount Fuji, right? You have to have a 777 flight around Mount Fuji. I mean, this aircraft is capable of going an extreme range. And we'll talk a little bit more about the specs as soon as we get onto the interior pilot and command position. But for now, I just want to say that wow, 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 these textures are quite extensively good, right? So we've seen the mains. I'd like to go up to the front here and basically look at the detail of the nose gear. Let's see what that looks like. Of course, there's a 777X there, not actually certified for flight yet in the real world, but it would be being produced here at Paine Field for sure. So, of course, a lot of the same up front in terms of the expected level of detail, right? It's all there. And it's very photorealistic looking. I have to say, with the lighting, I think that this aircraft model is probably the most photorealistic model that I've seen to date in the sim. I like the nice paint wear, right? The erosion right on the nose there. That's cool. And there's a reason that I'm flying in the evening hours here in this simulator, because the interior is excellent. It is indeed very, very nice looking, especially the panel lighting. Fully modeled, high polygon count. I mean, this aircraft's got it all, right? I mean, there's nothing less that we could expect of a PMDG model, because they are always on point with everything that they produce, for sure. We wait a while for these releases, but in the end, the product shows, and it shows well. I mean, look at the writing on that door, right? I mean, that's it's about as crisp as you can get. So it looks quite bare, but this has all of the essential features that a PMDG aircraft has. And what I mean by that is all the ground ops equipment. I'll show you that. We'll scan back outside here in a second. But these hinges, I mean, even the hinges, right? Even the hinges look really nice, for sure. So it looks good. Of course, this aircraft was just around $80 off sale, right? So quite a pretty penny. But if you're going to take delivery of a 777 from PMDG, you have to come to the Dreswicki Design Kilo Papa Alpha Echo Airport and leave from here to your home port, right? Your base. You have to. So, all said and done for the experience of immersion. Yeah, I'm all in about maybe around $100 US. That's okay though, because I mean, look at what we're looking at here. The moon's 2/3 of the way full. So, that being said, let's go ahead and hop on board. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, so here we are in the pilot in command position. Next thing we need to talk about, of course, is, again, if I didn't mention it, which I'm sure I did, I want to do an evening flight because I think it would demonstrate the phenomenal level of detail with the lighting in this interior, which, you know, level of immersion for this money is what you want, right? You want awesome lighting, and I'll tell you, I haven't found anything nicer than this. So, battery goes on, as always. We are going to start the APU up. We'll let that run, and then I'll throw the emergency lights to the armed position. And then once that's good to go, let's go ahead and make sure that we don't burn our window heaters up, so we'll turn those off. And then once the APU is all fired up, let's go ahead and turn on the generator. And you'll notice right away, those colors are absolutely phenomenal. That contrast with the evening is just, it's what I want to see when I'm spending this kind of money. So, in typical PMDG fashion, you do have your EFB with SimBrief, NaviGraph integration, so everything you need is here, right? We started with the blank palette, basically, but if we hop outside, you can essentially open and close all the doors, right? So, if you see a door, it opens for sure. But that's not all that this aircraft functions with. So you've got the doors, right? You've got the ground ops, planned fuel, turn type. There's all kinds of options here. And I have not seen this turn type before. And I have the PMDG 737. In fact, I have several of the models, two of them, the 900 and the shorter version that you saw in the opening to this video. So there's ground maintenance, right? Tires wear, brakes wear, and you can cool the brakes down. I hear that the brakes actually glow. The integrated driven generators, the IDGs, right? Those are basically your generators that provide electricity and they're geared off the engine. So, oil, hydraulic fluid, fire bottles. Let's see, you've got ground service. Let's just get everything out here. We'll request it all. Ground connections, chalks, air started units in case your APU doesn't work, GPUs for external power, so you don't even have to use the APU up and burn up the oil and the time between failures. And oh, by the way, there is a lot of failures. So this aircraft, if we come down here, has all kinds of setups, fuel, and if you're familiar with PMDG's products, especially with these management pages, it's a tried and true method that absolutely works. So you can get all kinds of information on here. And if you don't want to use the EFB, you can use all of the built-in features here on your pages. As you see, there's quite a lot of them. There's cabin lighting. You can control the cabin lights. That's for the passengers, obviously, of course. And ground connections. It's all here. I do believe this aircraft has a profile for GSX Pro as well. I'm curious to see how the pushback would work with the pre-planning, especially on this, or maybe even like an Aerosoft pushback. Maintenance. I mean, there's pages on pages here. So when we go back, there's also all kinds of setup. Cold states, you can save your panel conditions for all your switches, your equipments, your displays. I mean, look at this. There's 12 pages here of all kinds of stuff. How do you want the cabin lights lit? Do you want, there's call outs in here from the co-pilot. See, you can call these. You can turn them all on, turn them all off. This is highly, highly customizable. 400, 300, 200, 100 foot call out. I mean, what you see is what you get, right? There's 12 pages just on this one particular set of stuff. So, systems, air conditioning, APU, communications, doors, electrical, engine, fire protection, FC, flight instruments, FMS, fuel. 5 pages, right? 5 pages of failures that you can program in just for starters. So I believe this aircraft can even have failures as well on its own, right? Time between overhaul type stuff. Performance, you can even set up your FPS limit if you don't want your PFDs or your ICASs or anything to run and chew up GPU power, CPU power. It's here. And it's all in this nice little panel. So that's why we can't do a quick review on this, because this aircraft is 100% worth looking at and seeing all of the absolute functions that are offered here. So let me just realign here. And it's nice because it's all legible, right? It's all readable, as you would expect. Auto throttle, everything. ILS, VNAV, LNAV. vertical speed, localizer approach. It's all there. I am so ready to get this airplane up into the skies and out to Japan. It's here. So that is that. What I would like to do is quick cut to the back so that you can see the level of detail in the actual crew cabin. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so first class here. Let's just take a pause and then we'll go down and check out our seat here at 5D, right? A lot of really nice looking detail here, right? I'm not sure if it's photorealistic or not, but I can tell you, looking at that seat belt and that seat back, it looks really high detail. So much detail that you could actually sit in one of these seats, I believe, for the actual flight and enjoy it if you wanted to do the passenger state kind of thing, you know? It's really nice. I mean, when you come here to the flight attendant area and you're looking at these carts here that have sodas and chips and things on the bottom, and then the coffee makers. I mean, none of this looks rudimentary in terms of geometry. Very high polygon. Seems to have minimal effect on the FPS and the performance. I mean, look at the countertop there, right? It's reflecting the actual doors above it in a really nice manner, right? I mean, this is where it's at, right? The lighting, very nice, very ambient. Evening flight. Even come over here and start getting into the whatever this would be, right? Business class, first class. Very nice. See if we could go take a peek out the window here at those 115s. I mean, there you go. That's a view. Looks nice. Wall paneling looks really nice. Overhead, right? Legible. The sign GFED, very legible. High quality for sure. And then skipping quick back to the economy class is, you notice here, going down this right-hand aisle, even the economy seats have very stout texturing to them, right? I mean, look at that seat cushion on the bottom there, right? The carpet's good. The emergency row lighting on the left and right-hand corner there, very nice. Okay, so now that we are coming out and down the steps here of our jetway, I went ahead and obviously added all of the features that I could to the aircraft here, and I just want to show you a lot of the vehicles that are out here, right? So the whole gang's here now. We've got fuel trucks, we've got huffer carts for air starting and air conditioning, we've got, yes, our 2 jetways. I mean, we've got it all. We've got catering here, right? They're doing their thing. I'll be. Really just gives you a scale, right? Of how big an aircraft like this is. Even if we were sitting at eye level of this truck and you were to pan around here, you could look at it and I tell you, it's really massive, for sure. So it's all here. If you're used to PMDG, you will definitely enjoy this product, especially from the ground ops perspective, because what we like about our study level is the attention to detail, and it is for sure here. There is no shortage of PMDG detail here. I mean, if we even scroll through here, look at the detail on the door latches, right? I mean, those things are, they look like they could hold the door on, and that's a good thing. leading edges here, heat plume from the APU back there. As I was saying, these leading edges, they have a nice sheen to them, not too shiny, not too dull. They look just about right for a leading edge, of course, for sure. However, everybody probably wants to know, what's it fly like? What's it fly like? As this is a part 1 and the sun is setting, I'm going to go ahead and get this out as quick as I can to you all so that you can see just a little taste of what this aircraft offers. And then the second part will essentially be the flight out to Japan from here at Payne Field out in Washington. So, that being said, I hope you enjoyed this brief exterior and interior survey of what I'm expecting to be a remarkable flight here on AOK Games. So until the next video, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.